Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Candidly with Coffee.
Hey, let's go. It's Friday.
Why do you wait to adjust and drink and all the things right when I'm going to hit record?
I don't know.
Like every time.
Bad habit.
Oh my God. It's
bad timing.
The worst timing. It's so annoying.
So you just messed up my intro. I'm trying to get him fired up and now you're talking about something else.
Because you took a big old slurp from your...
I don't think they needed to know that. TMI. I'm trying to get these folks going. It's Friday. And you're over here talking about...
No, they need to know. Welcome back to another episode, guys.
This is us, though. It's all right.
We are back. I have a confession to start off this episode with. It's actually crooked again. Hold on, I gotta pause. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. So as I was saying, on the last episode, that picture behind us was so crooked. It was lopsided.
Damn.
And it drove me crazy all week.
I bet.
I was waiting for someone to comment on it.
Your OCD must have been going like spinning.
Absolutely.
I can only imagine looking at that picture.
Because we do the little clips for social media.
Yes.
And you can see it in the background. Man. So, I was so distracted by this damn picture. And the reason why, it's because it's not like hard nailed into the wall, because sometimes it's distracting and I take it down for filming other content. Yeah. So it goes up and down. And that's why, but how on earth did we get through an entire episode and neither of us noticed how crooked it was? I
didn't even look back there.
Did you notice it in the shorts or anything?
No, I didn't pay attention.
No?
I don't know why.
Oh my gosh. I was so bothered by it. I can't. That's when I know I have a little true OCD, to the point where it gives me a little bit of heart palpitation. It's so weird. Yeah. It's so weird.
Only people with OCD would understand that. Other normal people be like,
they'd be like, who the heck cares?
Yeah, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But
I cared. Anyways, let me open mine because I'm parched.
Our brains are all hardwired differently. You know what I'm saying?
ASMR situation. Oh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like the movie theater when they show you the Coca-Cola commercial.
I'm drinking a regular Diet Coke with caffeine because I'm going to an Orange Theory class.
12 o'clock? There you go.
So I need a little extra caffeine since I've been up hours and hours already.
Yes. 5 a.m.
Thank you so much for tuning in today and for all of the comments and reviews and everything. Just a reminder, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit 19,000 subscribers this week.
Yay.
Thanks to you guys, for sure. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
For every single subscriber.
Yep.
And if you haven't already, leave us a 5-star review at Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
Maybe someday we'll get back up to 5 stars because we're 4.9 stars.
I know.
Because there were some haters.
It's always some haters.
Can you believe that? Anyways, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. And then if you haven't checked out our YouTube channels, Mike's is at Esco Elite Fitness. He's got his vlog. He did a meal prep video this week, breakfast burritos. And then, of course, on this channel, you can see vlogs and full days of eating and all that stuff as well. I came across a quote that I screenshotted. It was from Alex Hermosi that I loved. I wanted to share it. It says, "There's no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to people who have a life that you don't want."
Man, that hit deep.
Isn't that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That is, don't even waste your breath on that.
No.
Yeah.
Don't.
I thought that was very interesting because we talk about a lot.
Yes.
We talk about that topic.
Yes, we do.
A lot. I also came across, if you tune into the podcast, we talked about Mike's famous PB&Js a few episodes ago, and that's what made me love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm going to put up a picture up on the screen of what the first PB&J Mike made for me, what it looked like. And that's why I loved it.
Yeah, okay. It's funny, though. I like that. I need to make a PB&J. I haven't made one in a while.
A lot of peanut butter. That's why I loved it so much.
Protein up, baby. Got to protein up.
Anyways, I thought that was a little funny to lighten the mood. Moving on to Comment Corner. The first one comes to us from Grizzly Loves. And she says, "I love you both. Mike's story is inspiring. Way to turn things around and make the best of a situation." She's referring to last episode, Tales from Prison.
Yeah. Just goes to show you, man, no matter where you end up in life, even if you feel like it's rock bottom, you can always climb back out of that hole. You just gotta just keep fighting. Don't give up.
You know what you can always do?
Because there's different prisons. That I was incarcerated, but I also read a quote. Some dude had it on his pants leg. I think it was Wes Watson, and it said California prisoner. He goes, I was never a prisoner. He goes, I was incarcerated, but I was never a prisoner because I wasn't a prisoner in my mind. I was a beast in my mind. I was in here leveling up, planning my future when I get out. And look at him now. He manifested it. Guys making millions left and right now. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next comment. It's also on the same episode. It's from Mina Rose 3193. She writes, I was in the early 90s house scene. All of my exes were drug dealers.
Yeah,
Some went to prison. We used to grow inside a warehouse in Oakland that is pretty well known for people renting only to grow. You can literally see it while driving on the 580. My fiance at the time was a DJ, and his cat, Alistair, is still alive today, 20-year-old cat. I take such good care of him. He's on the herbs and homemade diet. Give him regular B12 injections. I feel like his spirit is in Alistair. She feels like her fiance's spirit is in the cat. Yeah. He died young. He was addicted to heroin. I feel if he only smoked weed, he would still be healthy and alive today. I also moved back to the East Bay to be near my mom to take care of my elderly parents. I love all of your advice and experiences you are sharing about your dad. It's hard on us to see our parents dealing with issues of aging. So that's someone who definitely
She
knows.
described my world to a T.
Yeah, she described
that scene. So that's basically what led to my incarceration.
Yeah.
Partying. Then I started selling drugs in the 90s. Ecstasy was the thing back then. Heavy.
Yeah, and I only know about that scene through you. Through your stories, because while you were living that life, I was the soccer mom cutting the oranges.
Yeah, me and you wouldn't have meshed back then. I was a wild animal. I was going two days in a row partying, sometimes 3.
No,
We're going heavy.
So I know it through you. Now we lived our own kind of like party life for a few years when we first started dating, but it was different than that life.
Yes,
it was more of the house music scene. The DJs and the Calvin Harris and that whole scene. We went through that whole Vegas vibes scene.
But it still didn't compare to the San Francisco party scene. That was wild. That's insane.
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no clue about...
That we're the birth of pool parties?
Yeah, you told me.
I swear on everything. No, true story.
San Francisco.
Vegas, yes, at the Phoenix Hotel, called a party called Backflip, put on by Martell and the Bill with the promoters, and little pool. But it was all surrounded by little rooms all the way around, and it would sell out for the whole weekend. The party was on Sunday, but we'd be partying all weekend long.
That sounds so fun, though.
It was fun because in between then we'd go to other parties.
Yeah,
the whole weekend. It's like we're our mini Vegas, but in San Francisco, and everybody was doing ecstasy.
So that was the first pool party. Because back in the day, you guys,
this is the 90s.
Pools were just pools at hotels. They were not pool parties with DJs.
Nope.
I think Martell even brought a pool party to Vegas, didn't he?
I think so.
Did he go and work in Vegas for a while?
I think he did. Martell, yeah. He still has, I think Harlot is his. I don't know if it's still operating, but that was his club too in the city.
That's crazy.
He's a good friend of mine. We go way back. Good dude.
Didn't we meet his cousin or nephew or something?
Yeah, we did.
He worked in the nightlife too.
Yes. So I was in that industry too. I was not just was I party guy, I was a bouncer also in the nightlife industry as well. That's how I knew so many people and everybody.
How was that, being a bouncer? Did it make you not want to go out to clubs?
Yeah. Your days off, you really don't want to go out. You're over it. It was fun for being a young guy. Got to meet a lot of people. I like fighting, so I used to get in there and I mean break up the fights. But there are some times where I had to fight too, because then they turn on you.
A little rumble tumble.
Yeah, and I love that. I love action. I'm crazy. I know. Back then, not now. I'm an old man, but back then I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I still feel like you'd like to like it a little bit. By the way, somebody commented on my TikTok that they spotted they saw Mike in Starbucks and they said he was not happy.
I wonder what it was. I'm sorry.
Someone probably got your drink wrong or whatever. I just laughed and said, yeah, he's pretty intense. And she laughed back and said, yeah, so is my husband.
Sorry. I got my brain's a little cuckoo. I admit that.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're an intense individual.
I'm like that dude, Tyson Fury.
But you're also like the nicest person. You can be intense if caught in the wrong mood, but you're also like at the gym, you guys. He knows everybody. He literally makes friends with everybody. It was so funny because I saw you talking to a young guy and you guys were like chopping it up like you were boys. And I was like, who's that? You're like, oh, yeah. When we actually got into it one time. Like you told him
he was
to
on
move
his
out of the
phone
way.
and I wanted to use the pull-up thing.
Uh-huh.
And he's, I'm using it. I said, well, you're on your phone, so obviously you're not. So go back to your phone and I'm going to use it.
You guys had a moment.
Yeah.
And then how did you guys become friends after that?
I felt bad, guilty, so I apologized later on. I'm the older man. He's a younger guy.
Yeah.
I went up to
you
him.
probably intimidated the shit
He's
out of
all,
the
no,
poor guy.
no. He's like, no, it's all good. He's a big dude too.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
But no. And he's your son's name, Tyler.
Yeah.
He's a cool kid. I apologize. I was having a moment. When I train, you know how I train. I get in my workouts.
But you know what I love about
I'm
men?
intense.
Men can do that. I feel like a lot of times men, the best friendships start with fights.
They do. You know how many of my friends?
Isn't one of your best friends from childhood, you guys fought?
Yeah, Junior.
Yeah.
Fought alongside each other, fought against each other. We did all that. It was fun.
I feel like men have the ability to do that, whereas women, we don't as much. And that's not a dig. It's like DNA stuff here. I'm talking like in the DNA of the difference between a hardwired male and a hardwired female.
Yeah. So the difference too with men and alphadom, if you're in a room full of dudes, you usually know there's that one alpha dude, like he's the dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the formation happens.
Yes.
The hierarchy happens naturally. Whereas
it has nothing to do with money.
Women don't.
No.
They don't relinquish hierarchy.
Mm-mm.
They all fight for it constantly. And that's why there's, like the housewife shows, there's constant.
Yes.
They never settle into a hierarchy. Men might come together and initially have issues, but then they will all get in formation.
We can settle
of
it.
Hierarchy.
And we settle it with our hands. Usually talk it out first. If that doesn't work, then our hands. And we have to gain each other's respect. That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, we want to respect each other. We got to earn each other's respect, and we'd fight. And listen, and that's okay because we'd be friends after.
Yeah,
that's the funny part.
I
became close with a lot of dudes I beat up.
That's what I'm saying. It's so different. But
or they beat me up. I don't remember. I a lot back and forth.
I've listened to a lot of like documentaries and doctors and stuff talk about that, the phenomenon behind that, and how that.
I never looked at
works.
it like that. Yeah.
And it's like we are hardwired a certain way. I mean, listen, controversial or not, it's like it's controversial to talk about like gender roles nowadays.
Yes, exactly.
But it is, you can't fight like the science of something sometimes.
You can't fight science. I'm sorry. You can tell yourself whatever you want. You can go with the trends and be a follower, but you can't fight the science.
Right. So, but I do find it fascinating when I start to hear about that kind of stuff. It is fascinating.
That is why, look, how many male dogs do we have? 4.
Yeah. Because you can have.
There's one female of the pack.
Right.
No one messes with her.
Because you can have multiple male dogs.
Yes.
But it becomes very difficult to intermix multiple female dogs.
No.
And if you go to get another dog, a lot of times, and if the breeder cares at all about where their dog is going, they'll ask, "What do you have? Males? Do you have females? What breed or whatever?" Because it's very difficult to integrate. If Charles was a girl, and I went and got another dog, I would have had to have gotten a boy.
Yes.
Because if I would get another girl, they would fight for the alpha role constantly, and it'll never relinquish.
Nope.
Whereas the males, maybe they'll fight initially, the male dogs, but then they're like, all right, yep. Like when Diesel was alive, everyone bowed down to Diesel. Yeah. Okay, Diesel is the leader.
Yes, exactly.
It is what it is.
Everybody knew their place.
Yeah.
It's weird, though. It's like that kind of in fighting, too. You'll see it in men, like tap, I respect each other. Whoa, homeboy got power. Let me back up a little bit. But when you get 2 female fighters, they go. I love to watch them fight because they scrap. One cracks one and cracks the other.
It is. You see the dynamic.
On. I'm like, look at these chicks go.
And that's why the female fighting, those fights, I love to watch the females.
Are so exciting, these women of today, these professional fighters. Yeah. Muay Thai, MMA, oh man, they're not like yesterday. There's no pulling here. These chicks can bang. They got heart.
Again, and it all boils down to because of the differences DNA-wise, the makeup of how they handle things. It shows in the ring.
This is what I'm going to safely assume that's going through you guys' brain. Bitch, I ain't backing down. I'm coming. And the other one's saying the same thing. Like, I ain't backing down either. I'm coming. So they're both
when they're fighting,
scrapping. Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what happens in the wild, too.
Yeah, I know. Like you said, it's all science, DNA. You could fight it. You can argue all you want. Do what you want. It's the science. You can't beat it.
Yep. All right. Moving on to a hot coffee topic. The Golden Bachelor is coming out at the end of the month, and I'm excited because we are gonna recap it a little bit. We're gonna
What do
watch
you mean
it.
we? I don't watch Bachelor. What's
We
this
talked
we?
about it last time, and you agreed to that we
I
were
did?
gonna watch it
Oh man,
because we
why
wanted
did
to
I
see the
agree to you guys?
dynamic of the older people.
All right, I'll watch it.
This guy, I have to remind every day of my life is me reminding him of things that he's already agreed to and that we've already talked about. You need a supplement or something.
Probably.
Ginkgo biloba.
Probably, yeah.
Your memory, it drives me absolutely crazy. Hot coffee is that they released the people, the 22 ladies that are going to be vying for the Bachelor's love.
Yeah.
They did all go older. I think the youngest is maybe like 60 because he's 75.
Okay.
So they did cast older women. They didn't cast him to be with like some younger women. So they're all like 60 to 75 years old.
Yeah.
And I just have a few of them that I pulled up. I'll put them up on the screen. So like this, there's this woman.
Wow. She looks like she takes care of herself.
Yep, 73.
Oh, huh? What's
Right?
that? One more time?
She's 73 years old.
Man, rock that, girl. You're killing it for 73.
Yeah,
My mother didn't even live to be 73.
64.
Oh, wow. This is a different era.
Yep. This one is 61. Look at this lady.
Dude. Are you kidding me?
This
See?
is the face. This is the new
Ladies,
face of menopause.
there's hope for you guys. Lots.
Look at this woman, 75. She does not. If she had a different,
Babe,
her
she
hairdo
looks like
makes
she's
her
in her
look a little
50s.
older because her hair
Yeah.
is a little dated, in my opinion. She
75.
looks stunning.
Wow. That's impressive.
She looks like she's in her 50s. I would believe that this woman was 55 years old.
Our listeners are going to be blown away when they see these pics.
Yeah, head over to YouTube if you're listening.
2023, man.
Or check out people.com because people posted all 22 of them. But I wanted to
These are your faves that you picked out.
I just, honestly, they
your
all look
top
good.
ones. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just picked,
Yeah. No, hey.
I think they look great.
Impressive. I'm telling you.
This is what I
Hope.
want to look like at
Hope.
73.
Yes.
Listen, my mom passed away at 75.
Bad.
She was a hard 75.
Babe, my mother was a hard 65. You know what I'm saying?
Hard 75. I don't want to, I want to put my best foot forward for as
Yeah.
long as I can.
Exactly. While we're here. Why
Yeah,
not? I don't
for
know why
sure.
people don't want to do that. They're in a hurry to go to the grave.
But I'm excited to see is there cattiness amongst older women? Does that go away?
Oh,
I want to know
the
the
dynamic.
dynamics because all the women will be in a house.
There'll always be cattiness, but I think be more respectable because the older you get, the more
Yeah.
kind of humble and you don't really give a
Yeah,
fuck
I
trying to
think
impress
so,
people.
too.
Excuse my French. You don't really trying to impress people. When you're younger, you still have that attitude and ego.
Yeah. So we'll
see though. We'll see how that.
So that's coming out at the end of September. There's 2 good shows that are coming out that we'll for sure be watching. So there's this one, and then there's Special Forces Season 2.
I can't wait to see that one.
Special Forces shows you what you're made of. It's a
Yeah.
good, really good
Yeah, I would love to go on that show.
show.
Anybody, if any of you guys ever know anybody casting, hey, send
Well,
them my
that's
way.
for celebrities.
I don't care. I'm a celebrity in my own head. I'm Vin Diesel's cousin. I'm joking.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of which, it's not one of my comment corners, but somebody did say, hey, you guys have you ever thought about doing a reality show? Because of our
Whoa.
dueling vlogs, they made a comment on that. I'm like, actually, we were approached for a reality show that we turned down because it
Yes.
wasn't in line with what we wanted to do if we join a reality show.
Yeah.
We talked about it. It was last year. Love for the Ages on Peacock. I don't regret that we didn't do it.
Nah.
I just not really my cup of tea.
Plus, you don't want to be messing around with your marriage too much.
Yeah, it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
We could do,
You don't
I
wanna
think
risk
we
it.
would be comedy like on An Amazing Race or something.
Oh, man. If they're ever casting for that, we need to put our bid in. I promise you, we'll kill it. I know
Amazing
exactly how to
Race.
train you to get you. You're in good shape, but I'll take you to another level.
But it's not all just about physical.
No, you're the smart.
There's
You'll be
a
the smart
mental
one.
piece.
Yes.
It would be comedy, I think, for sure, because of the way we interact.
You would figure out the
sometimes.
puzzle, but I'd be pushing us when we're tired. Like, let's go. I know us. We know how to
Yeah,
move. We're
maybe.
fast.
I don't know. Okay, Hold My Coffee goes to not a comment that was made to me directly, but it's one that I hear frequently. But I saw this video of this guy. It's like this fitness influencer on TikTok. And he did a video explaining that if you eat more than 30 grams of protein per meal,
Here we go.
all the excess over 30 grams will be stored as fat. The misinformation
Whoa.
is just
Yeah.
that. First of all, that myth about you can
That's an old
only
myth.
digest 30 grams.
It was 35 grams on my era.
It's been debunked many years ago already. That is the oldest.
It's been going on since the 90s.
Keep repeating the same headline from the same crap study.
Yeah.
I went to just look at studies for the debunking. There was so many. I was scrolling on how many studies that they've done to debunk it. And I won't even bore you guys. I know not a single one of you will care to read the studies.
Yeah, no.
But I'm just telling you, it is simply not true.
That's bro science.
You actually digest all of the protein that you eat. You don't store it as fat.
No.
You digest it. There's no limit. There's no cap. The mix-up has to do with like muscle protein synthesis for maximum exercise.
Yes.
And all of that. Has nothing to do with the digestion. In fact, the more protein you consume, the better your metabolism is. Yep. It increases your total daily energy expenditure because there's something called thermic effect of food. And thermic effect of food is the amount of calories that it takes to digest something, to break down a macronutrient. It takes the most amount of calories to break down protein.
Yep.
So if you consume a lot of protein in your diet, and say you are going to consume extra calories, but you consume those extra calories in the form of more protein, it will be less likely to be stored as fat, not more likely to be stored as fat, like this guy says.
Yes.
So that's like hold my coffee, dude. Get it right. That's been debunked.
He's a trainer?
He's like a fitness influencer, bodybuilder kind of dude.
Boy, here we go.
It's just not true.
No, it's not. It's bullshit. That's bro science from the 90s. I hate when people spew BS information just to get clickbait and likes or whatever, or let your video go viral. And then people start believing that.
Yeah, it's like they do. They believe it.
People
And
are
then
gullible.
I thought you couldn't eat. In fact, if you consume 30 to 60 grams of protein in a sitting, this is what it is going to do for you. It is going to keep you full.
Facts.
Much longer. It is going to increase your caloric burn of that meal.
Mm-hmm.
It does take longer to digest.
Yes, it does.
But that is not a bad thing.
No, that's what you want.
That's a good thing. Plus, you're going to get the benefits of taking in the protein. And the way he explained it was just the worst, too, because he literally used these words, anything in excess of 30 grams of protein, and you're going to store it as fat. Irregardless of calories, bro. What if they're in a deficit? They ain't storing shit as fat. Even if they ate fat, they're not storing it as fat.
These dummies. Anyways, what I wanted to say is most of my meals I consume are 40 to 60 grams of protein. Mm-hmm. How am I losing body fat then if it's not getting stored as fat? I'm still losing weight and getting lean. So I'm living proof for that right now as we speak.
And your numbers are supporting your fat is dropping.
Yeah.
You're very muscular.
So according to this guy, I can't lose body fat because the excess protein.
According to him, every time you eat more than 30 grams of protein, you're storing that as body fat.
Mm-hmm. Well, nope.
But the problem with this is the problem. There's people out there that spew a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of people who consume the misinformation.
Yes.
I have a pet peeve of mine like that. I listen to this podcast. I love my housewives, okay? I listen to Two Teas in a podcast with Teddy Mellencamp and Tamra Judge. And Tamra, she did a fitness competition and she owned a gym with her husband. But every once in a while she spews out like nutrition information or fitness or nutrition advice. And I know I doubt she's certified in any capacity, but her information is usually wrong.
She's not certified?
No. And it bothers me that she gives wrong information. Like she even made a comment about how Ozempic works. She literally commented on how Ozempic works to prevent fat storage and whatever, because if it's a diabetes medication. And how she described that Ozempic works was completely wrong. Like she basically explained that it works to cause you to lose weight even if you are eating normal.
Yeah.
Wrong. But it drives me crazy. And so that's the kind of thing, the misinformation that's out there.
Yeah, because basically she's saying calories in, calories out don't matter. That goes out the window if you're taking Ozempic.
Yeah, but she just says lots of things. And it's just that's just one small example.
Because eating normal for Americans is overeating. That's if we're speaking the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Not normal eating. No.
I even did a little experiment on you because you don't track on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I know you guys, I've been doing this not to toot my own horn, but give a little toot because I'm very good at estimating calories.
Yeah,
I don't have to sit there and add it up. I can just look at what you ate for the day and I'll throw out a number. Go, you probably ate about 5,000 calories on Saturday, which is the conversation we had yesterday. And Mike's, no, I didn't. I didn't eat 5,000. I'm like, yes, you did. Who cares? Don't worry about it because you lost weight this week.
I did.
But yeah, you ate 5,000 and you were fighting me on it. Tyler came out from the room and is laughing, going, what's going on? Because I was like, why are you fighting me on this? I know. Do you want me to break it down for you? I'll break it down.
Yeah.
And what happened,
I didn't know where you were going with it. So
I went each item by item that we figured out what he ate and guess how many calories he ate.
Should I explain what I ate that day?
5,000 calories.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to figure out was because people might think because his daily intake is 2,400.
Yes.
But people might think, wow, that's only 2,400 for someone of your size or whatever. Like that's a little low of a deficit.
3 pounds, 75. Yeah.
But it's not 2,400 calorie deficit. That's just what he consumes some of the days. Remember, it's average over the week. So what I was trying to figure out is what's his true average right now? What calories is he truly averaging? He averages 2,400 calories during the week and a 5,000 calorie Saturday. He's eating more like 2,800, 2,900 calories per day average.
If you average it out, yes. Because that's not supposed to be anyways. That's for the week.
Right.
And I still dropped weight.
Because you have a high expenditure. So I was figuring out what your expenditure is. Like you could literally.
What do you think I burn in a day, if you're honest? Like total, when I train, when I do, with us yesterday, went to City Sports, walk 3 miles, and then I go to CSA back.
Well, I think your expenditure, your TDEE, is upwards from 4,000, 4,500, maybe even sometimes.
Wow.
That's your total. That's why you're losing at a rate of more than 2 pounds a week.
Dude.
That's 2 to 3 pounds some weeks. It's because you have a high expenditure. So you can afford to actually bump up your daily average higher if you wanted to, but you prefer to eat like a little heavier on one day or whatever, but you can play with that.
Yeah.
What I was trying to figure out was what's your bank account so that you can have a little more freedom.
I see what you're saying.
So I was trying to do these calculations for him to help him go, hey, your bank account is really like 19,000 calories a week. You don't have to use all those extra calories on one day. You can spread it out a little bit, have a midweek cheat, whatever. I was trying to help him, but he was too busy fighting me on the fact that he didn't feel he ate 5,000 calories.
I was in denial, you guys.
I had to break out the math and show him, and he's like, shit, you're right. I did eat 5,000 calories.
But you know what it is? Now you're even showing me the true power of macros, like how you could really play with this.
Yeah.
It's all numbers. Anybody ever use a scale to weigh anything out? Anything, to make a cake, anything? You could do macros. I'm telling you guys. I was telling my boy that. He's grasping it now. I told you, dude, it's numbers. You just got to be consistent and do it. The other thing, you cannot get lazy.
The other thing, though, that I think it was a good lesson is because this is what I come in contact with all the time, every single day.
I know what you're going to say.
Is that people think they're eating less than they are.
They're way off.
Even though you, who are in the space, macros, you calculate macros, you have clients.
I forgot about the burrito after McDonald's.
You even know there was no burrito on that day. That day we figured you ate 6,000 calories.
Oh.
But even though this space, even on an untracked day, you still thought you consumed 1,000 calories less than you actually did.
Yeah, I was off.
But that's not uncommon, so don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's not uncommon there.
I'm learning. You learn.
I'm like, I'll sneeze and eat 3,000 calories on a Saturday if I'm not tracking it.
Yeah, easy. You can go toe-to-toe with me. People don't know. They look at you and look at me. I'm, much bigger, 50 pounds plus of muscle bigger than you, but your stomach has no limit.
Like, I get that all the time, though. I get people saying all the time, they'll comment saying, I've gained 20 pounds and I'm not overeating.
Yes, you are. It doesn't come on by accident.
Like, that's like a contradicting statement. If you gain 20 pounds, then you are overeating. There is no way around that.
No.
Now, the reason why you're overeating,
law of thermodynamics,
could be lots of different things that make perfect sense. I'm not saying, but it still means that, the equation I talk about, the intake, the burn.
Yep.
So I posted a picture on my Instagram yesterday, which was just like, I just did a little, my old school way to see if I'm losing body fat is to try on, I have a tried and true pair of Zara jeans that have their
They
old
don't
school
flex.
denim. They have not an ounce of stretch. They are so freaking tight on the waist, and you have to have a tiny waist to wear these pants. And when I start to plump up, they don't go on. They don't even go over my hips. 2 months ago, they wouldn't even go over my thighs, these jeans. I was like, oh boy, we got a problem.
Spooked you a little bit, huh?
Yeah. So this is before I would step on the scale, before I made my whole reconciliation with the scale.
Yeah.
But I just for fun, I tried them on again on the 22nd of August. I tried them on and they came up and they buttoned and I had to wrestle with them a little bit to zip, but they did zip. And I did a video. Actually, the picture I posted on Instagram and I'll put up here on the screen is actually a screenshot from a video. I did 2 videos. So in case anyone wondering if there's editing or anything, they're actually videos.
Yeah.
But even though I was able to button them, there's still body fat spillage. I'm like, okay, they're still not fitting right. So I tried them on again yesterday and I was able to button them much easier, zip them much easier, and there's a lot less spillage. And that's only 8 days.
Crazy.
Only 8 days. But I figured it would be. I figured I would, because those jeans are a true testament of body fat loss because of the way where they're tight is body fat. It's in the waist. It means my waist came down. And I did notice on my weigh-in on the in-body scan that my body fat percentage came down by 3.5%.
Wow. Good job. In 8 days?
And just overall, since the first time I weighed.
Oh.
So the first time I stepped on the in-body scale when I was 131.2 and I was 28.9% body fat or something like that. Now I'm 25% body fat.
Good for you. On your way down.
So I knew that, so I'm like, if the scale is correct and I am losing body fat, then these jeans should fit better. So I tried them on and
what a good test you did.
You know, I'm always testing.
Yes, of course, because you want to know. Proof is in the pudding. Like, let me see how accurate this is. How?
Because if the body fat is going down, I know the majority of my body fat is there and the thighs. So the jeans should fit better in the thighs. They should fit better in the stomach. And they do. They fit, you know, they definitely fit better.
Yeah. And then you could do another picture 8 days from now just to show.
Yeah, I mean, I always, you guys, if you know me, you know that I've used, these jeans are like my testing jeans. I've used them when I gained weight after the holidays. I gained a few pounds and I couldn't put them on. Yeah. And then in a month, I was able to get them back on. And then, but I wasn't weighing in. So the interesting thing to me is back when I was in perimenopause and I put on what I thought was about 4 to 5 pounds, put myself in a deficit in January, lost the 4 to 5 pounds. What I think, but I wasn't weighing myself because I was still weird about the scale. Yeah. But I just assumed that once the jeans buttoned, I was like, okay, cool, I'm back to 120. In my head, that's what I thought. The reality, the buttoned up jeans, 125. So I was off by 5 pounds.
You're off.
I've been skewed because right now I'm about 125. So I haven't weighed myself today, but earlier this week I was 125.7. which was up a little from my low last week fluctuations. I need to weigh in tomorrow for sure.
I was 173 yesterday, 0.1, 8.5 body fat. Today I was 176, 11%.
Yeah. It's like a crazy, like.
It's data. Like you said, it's data. Yeah. Don't be scared of it. People are so afraid of a number. It's just
there's so many different things that affect the number.
Yes.
But what's it charting? Are those numbers trending down? Now you pop up and popping up is 176 when 176 used to be like a goal weight. You know what I'm saying? Like a low, and now it's your high.
Yeah. I never been this light as an adult male. You get what I'm saying? My lowest before that was 104.5. So I've already reached a new low.
Yeah.
I'm just taking my time cruising, just showing like I could do it at this age, a challenge of it.
It's just crazy. And if you don't... Like I said, if you change your mindset on it,
that's what flipped for me, my mindset. I didn't have this mindset in my 20s or 30s. I never believed. I always said, no, I'm not built that way. No, I can't get that lean. It's fucking mindset. It's bullshit. It's a cop-out.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, speaking of the 2 T's in a Pod podcast, a few episodes ago, we talked about Erica Jane and how Erica Jane said that she was asked if she was on Ozempic and she denied it and said she lost weight because of menopause, right? Yes. I remember I jumped on that because I thought, okay, that's bullshit.
Big cap.
So she was on the 2Ts podcast and they confronted her with that question.
Good.
And she changed up her answer a little bit.
Of course she
And I will forgive her because I understand this answer. She's entitled to this answer, but this is much better. She said, listen, I should have elaborated on Watch What Happens Live. When I said that I lost weight because of menopause, what I meant was menopause caused me to gain weight, which in turn caused me to seek help.
Got it. See?
And in seeking help, yes, I am taking many things, she says. Many things. Hormones and things. She was vague.
Yes.
But she goes, but beyond that, it's nobody's goddamn business.
That's true, though.
That was her opinion.
Nah.
I said, this was much better answer.
Yeah.
You're doing things.
She's doing peptides. Yes. One of those peptides is Ozempic. We do peptides. We talk about it. We're not hiding it. Exactly. We do things.
Yes.
We do peptides.
So she elaborated, saying it was menopause that caused her to seek help because the weight gain, she was already not feeling the best, and then the weight gain just started creeping up faster. That makes perfect sense, of course.
Bingo.
So that's a much better answer.
Bingo.
And I do believe she's entitled to say that. She's entitled to say, yeah, I'm getting help. I'm doing things. Menopause caused me to gain weight. But does she have to give her freaking regimen in her? No, that's not. But don't allude that you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's okay to say you're doing some things, but you choose not to elaborate. And she specified that she chose not to elaborate because there is someone on her cast of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with an eating disorder.
Oh.
Who has certain feelings about it. She goes, I just don't want to go there. Weight is a touchy subject. I've gotten in trouble before for saying a thing that was not politically correct about eating disorders and things like that. Anyways, but she did refer to something that I want to call the menopause clause. Let's call it the menopause clause.
Menopause clause. That's hella funny.
The menopause clause, because so many people will say, yeah, I've gained weight. It's menopause.
They always blame menopause.
Which menopause, for certain, can be the blame for weight gain, for sure. It could be the reason why. There's lots of reasons why, though.
So how are some women losing weight on menopause like yourself?
Because it can be the blame, but it doesn't prevent you from losing weight. I want to make sure I make that absolutely clear, because even as I navigate my own menopause weight gain and weight loss, I want to be clear that menopause in and of itself does not prevent weight loss. It does not prevent weight loss when a calorie deficit is adhered to and your movement commitment is adhered to. It just simply does not. I came across it was a quote from a doctor, an obesity medicine doctor on Instagram, and he says, diet and exercise would work for obesity if people actually adhered to it.
Yes.
Biology and our environments derail our adherence. This is why biological tools like peptides help people adhere and actually lose weight and keep it off.
Facts.
So menopause would be like that biology.
Yeah.
It's changing the biology, which makes adherence to diet and exercise more difficult.
Yep.
I hope that makes sense, because I know I have a lot of women who follow me on YouTube who are in menopause, who are navigating this world, trying to figure out what the hell happened.
Yeah, of course.
And why they're
like
gaining
us.
weight.
It's like men.
But in order to lose the weight, you have to first, when it comes to menopause, in order to lose the weight, you have to manage the menopause symptoms, because it is the menopause symptoms that caused the weight gain, not just some miraculous menopausal thing that happens that packs fat on your body.
No.
The weight gain still came from a calorie surplus.
Because that, again, I'm going to elaborate on this. If that were true, menopause, you automatically start packing on weight. Just to take calories out of it. Then the law of thermodynamics goes out the window. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Then that would be debunked right there.
And you know what I always like to do? I always like to go to animals, because they can't control anything. We control their lives.
Yes.
Let's talk it like Charles, because menopause is also a thing, and the same kind of stuff happens when your menopause is your testosterone drops.
Estrogen up.
So you get symptoms, and you have to manage those symptoms
We get
to
fat.
prevent weight gain.
Yes, because we start packing it on.
So Charles, my lovely dog that's sitting right next to me, we got his little snipperoo this year.
Got fixed.
We did a little snipperoo,
Yes.
which would put him into menopause.
Menopause.
What happened when we did that? Did he put on weight? Yes.
Yes, he did.
I was feeding him the same, but he put on weight. Why did he put on weight? Because the lower hormones the snipperoo caused, the testosterone dropping, caused him to move less.
Yes.
He's not as active. It is very apparent. He is not as active.
Nope.
He sleeps more during the day. Therefore, he gained weight. So I had to offset that energy balance issue by feeding him a little less. Now the weight is coming off.
Yes. Isn't that crazy on animals too?
Yes.
You could pull back a little bit and they lose weight.
Same thing.
Animals.
So it's just important to know that the menopause in and of itself will not prevent you from losing the weight, but you can't ignore the symptoms because it's the symptoms that caused you to put on the weight. Usually, one of the number one things is sleep, poor sleep. It affects your sleep. You get hot flashes at night or heart palpitations. The drop in estrogen sometimes also drops your magnesium levels or your vitamin D levels, and sleep affects everything.
Oh, it's like your center of energy. If your sleep is messed up, that's it. You're screwed. Unless you somehow find it to make it up the next day. You start getting back on track. But even one day could derail you for a few days.
Yeah, for sure. So sleep's a big one. I think the most important thing is to stop and think about, don't worry about what got you to where you are right now. Because if the symptoms have now gone for whatever reason, or you figured it out, now you just got to get on your calorie deficit, get on your healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
But if you are still battling certain symptoms right now, like either poor sleep, low mood, low energy, cravings, hot flashes, bladder leakage, all of those
Everything
things
you've experienced,
you need to systematically address those things and fix them, and then focus on like improving your adherence to a calorie deficit and healthy lifestyle. It'll be much easier. It's very difficult to be in a bad mood, to not be sleeping, to have horrible cravings, hot flashes, and a leaky bladder, but yet track your macros and work out every day. Very difficult to do.
You got 5 issues versus 2.
Very difficult to do. And so what happened for me was I was experiencing all those things that I mentioned. The sleep, the low mood, low energy, cravings, hot flashes. That was the list of everything that hit me like all at once, starting in like March.
Wow.
So it was like 3 months where I was trying to get it together, where I just felt all these things. I'm like, why am I struggling so bad? And then it wasn't until May that my doctor actually said, okay, yeah, based on your levels and your lack of your period in over a year, you are definitely in menopause. And I was like, oh, shoot. So that's why I'm feeling all these things.
Once you figured out that you were in menopause, then
it was like a light bulb.
Yeah. Then you started taking care of the problems.
Then I started thinking, okay, so I need to improve my sleep. What supplementation do I need? And it was like, sometimes it feels like so many things, you don't even know what to tackle first.
Yeah.
To be honest, the most debilitating one at times has been the bladder leakage. It made me not want to work out.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's embarrassing. You don't want to.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. But so that one was pretty bad. But the biggest one that I noticed, and I know this one contributed to my weight gain, was my appetite and cravings were through the roof. I couldn't control my appetite. And I remember in fact, I could probably even go back to podcast episodes that I did around that time where I talked a lot about appetite during that time. I just couldn't control my appetite.
Is that when you started discovering berberine?
That's when I discovered berberine. That's right,
yes.
So
because I remember you were talking about that. Your appetite was out of control and you didn't know why.
I was willing to do anything at this point. And that's at that point where
you lost control.
I even thought, shoot, semaglutide is starting to sound really good to take the edge off this appetite because I can't function.
Yeah.
Eating 1,400 calories a day to be in a deficit was like very difficult. And then what would happen is I would go crazy on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I would not be able to reel it in. And I was having 4,000 calorie days.
Spinning your wheels.
And surplusing for the week.
Yeah.
And that's how the weight started coming.
Yep.
Then I started noticing that I would start my cheat day Fridays. So
we started slipping. This is when we're
Yeah.
doing chips, remember? Slipping, not we didn't track our last meal. We go out to dinner and kind of like
yes, just
eyeball it.
terrible, you
Yeah.
guys. Just so yeah, I had to
We
get a
slip.
hold of all of those things. So I'm gonna share with you the things that have worked for me. But these are just things that have worked for me. This is not medical advice. Listen, talk to your doctor, get your levels checked, go get a micronutrient test to find out if you're deficient in any micronutrients. Do what you have to do, but I am going to share what has worked for me because I can tell you right now, as I sit here right now, I am not experiencing any symptoms from menopause.
Crazy.
None. I am
Yeah, you told
sleeping
me today.
well.
You don't know.
My appetite is controlled. I have my bladder has not been leaking.
Yep.
I am losing body fat, losing weight. I feel good energy.
Crushing workouts.
So I am sitting, not to say that it's forever going to be fixed. And if something else comes up, I'll be like, okay, got to address it. What do we need to do? But as of right now, I've got everything covered. And so this is what I'm doing. So I did the berberine, Metagenics berberine for my appetite. This helps to control blood sugar. It helps to stabilize your appetite. What I've noticed is when I'm done eating my meal, even if it's a small, low calorie deficit meal, I am satisfied with the meal. I'm not in the pantry looking for a couple of little sweet things to throw into my mouth after the meal.
Yeah.
Because before, I was doing that.
And it adds up. These little pop in the mouth adds up.
It obviously added up because I put on weight.
Yeah.
I was putting
See?
on weight even though I thought I was in a calorie deficit.
And somebody who does numbers and is really good at it. Somebody who's a pro
was still putting on weight.
Because you weren't 100% tracking.
And because I wasn't stepping on the scale and holding myself accountable.
Yep.
So I felt okay.
Yes.
I felt good. And therefore, the weight crept up and got away
And the
from
scale
me.
humbled you.
Yeah, it really did. Berberine has been helping me, for sure. The other thing is magnesium glycinate. I also take it from Metagenics. It's the recommended dosage is around 320 milligrams per day. I take 400 magnesium glycinate. This helps a lot with sleep, mood, hot flashes.
You haven't complained about those.
No, I haven't had a hot flash.
Good. Wow.
So magnesium glycinate. Why glycinate over the other forms of magnesium? It's highly absorbable. So you're going to actually get the benefits of what you're taking. You're not just going to pee it out. It's difficult to overdose on magnesium. Your body tends to just release it in urine, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But it improves mood, it reduces stress and anxiety, helps with sleep. Magnesium citrate that a lot of people take, that's good more for digestion. So if you are struggling with constipation, that's the magnesium citrate is the magnesium that helps with going number 2, which is also beneficial as well. You might maybe mix the two, but I'm liking the glycinate, and that seems to be really helping. I also am taking benfotiamine, which is basically a fat-soluble version of thiamine or vitamin B1. This was recommended to me by somebody on YouTube, and it's supposed to help with bladder leakage. The magnesium's also supposed to help with that. Yeah. So I think the combination of these two things, I have not had bladder leakage.
And you sneezed on our walk today, and you were happy.
That was a win.
You were happy about that.
Yeah. You guys, I sneezed, didn't have to stop and hold myself, and I did not leak during a sneeze.
It's working. Whatever you're doing is working.
I literally was peeing my pants just 2 months ago. I would come home from the walk and the urine marks on my pants would be down to my knees.
Man.
And that was going to the bathroom halfway through the walk, before the walk, and with a panty liner in, and it would still pee right through. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was so debilitating.
Freaking life.
I'm also taking vitamin D3, which is also excellent for menopausal women. So those are just some of the things that I take. I take some other things as well. But those specific things have really helped manage my symptoms. I also, as you guys know, have recently discovered that the phone was preventing me from having a really good
I
night's
was going to
sleep.
say, talk about your sleep, how good it's been.
I have not been on the phone. I am a believer now. Stop the scroll.
2 hours
If you
before
want to
bed?
sleep, no scroll. I put my phone away at 7 p.m., no later than 7, and does not come into the bedroom with me. No later than 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm asleep by 8:30.
Nice. Yeah, you're asleep early. I'm gonna start doing that. I started a little bit, but I'm gonna start
I
putting
also
it down.
just feel less distracted. I'm enjoying television again.
It's crazy how we do that. We
Like-
blindly do that. We'll scroll and the TV will be on.
Oh,
Can't watch a show all the way.
awful. It is.
It's
not good for the brain,
No, it's
I don't
not.
think.
Messing us up.
What's next for me, and a lot of people have recommended like hormone replacement therapy, but I'm not opposed to it, but right now I'm managed. I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
So it's
Between our
like don't use
peptides.
all the tools until you need them. Like I wouldn't use the tools. Like if you don't have cravings, don't take berberine.
Nope.
Don't use it unless you need it. I feel good, so I'm not going to do HRT unless
I said the
need it.
same thing about TRT. Like I want to do my blood work and see where I'm at. If I needed it to feel better, then yes, I would be open to do it. But if I don't, I'm not going to just do it because I'm old.
Right.
A lot of older guys just want to do it because it makes them feel good.
I also recently, I started yesterday, I had you starting to take magnesium glycinate for
Yeah.
your blood pressure.
Yeah.
I suspect that you might be a little deficient in magnesium because you sweat a lot,
I
you
do.
drink a lot of water,
A ton of water, a gallon a day at least.
and magnesium deficiencies contribute to high blood pressure.
That's crazy. We'll
Because
find out.
magnesium is good for the muscles. It helps with muscle contraction. And
Yeah.
your arteries need to contract
Yes, they do.
for your blood pressure to be optimal. And if you're deficient in magnesium, they might constrict, but they might not be contracting actively.
Isn't it crazy even at this weight and how lean I am, my blood pressure still, I got to take a damn medication for it.
Yeah, I also take B vitamins. I take a Super B complex. It's really important when it comes to taking something like if you just take vitamin B1, if you only take that, you can end up throwing off your balance of B vitamins and then becoming deficient in another B vitamin. So I take the Super B complex from Costco as well. And I feel good. So I pay attention. How's anxiety levels? How's my heart rate? How is everything feeling? Because if you end up like taking too much of something, or some people can overdo it on zinc. Zinc is something you can actually overdose on. You got to be careful.
Really? Zinc, huh?
Yeah. You should keep it under 50 milligrams a day. But you have to pay attention to those things too, because you don't want to take too much and then you inadvertently are overdosing yourself, causing more problems.
Yeah.
So be mindful. Work with has to be like a functional medicine doctor when it comes to this kind of stuff. Traditional doctors do not focus on supplementation at all.
Diet and exercise. That's her generic go-to answer.
Which is crazy to me that they don't.
No.
Because like I was talking to someone yesterday about how, did you know that you need to make sure that you are not deficient in your B vitamin, specifically B12, if you are about to go under anesthesia?
Oh, wow.
You have to be, because it can cause cognitive problems. You can actually it could lead to dementia or issues if you are deficient in vitamin B12 and you go under specific forms of anesthesia.
Man, that's risky.
And in fact, that's why like multiple surgeries in a row can be a problem.
Me, I did that. I went under anesthesia 3 times in a week. Probably was dangerously close to what you just said happening.
And a friend of mine actually had mentioned that like a lot of elderly people like who have surgery and they're already on a cognitive decline.
Yeah.
It increases the speed of that cognitive decline because there's a certain chemical reaction that happens with the anesthesia in the brain.
Like my father.
And specifically with vitamin B12, if you're deficient, and you could preload before surgery to help prevent that. But then after the surgery, you should take it. Listen, this is not medical advice. This is just stuff that I've read and I've heard.
You're just sharing.
I'm just sharing.
No advice. Just
Yeah,
sharing.
I'm not a doctor by any means. I'm not qualified to give any advice on that. I'm just, in terms of the supplements that I'm talking about, that's what's worked for me. But at the end of the day, the most important thing I want you guys to take away from this is stop and sit in your symptoms for a minute. Instead of just being like flustered, oh my God, I got to lose weight.
Yeah.
Stop, take a pen and a paper or open your note in your phone. What are you experiencing? What are the symptoms that you are experiencing that you feel are contributing to your lack of ability to stay within a certain calorie limit or to get your workouts done? What's causing you to skip your workouts?
Yeah.
For me, a lot of it was at times the low mood made me not care.
Yeah.
Some days.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And the low mood resulted in some high calorie days for me because on the days I didn't care, I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I was just in a low mood. You feel down and out. You don't care. You don't care about looking cute. You don't care about going anywhere or doing anything.
And this is when people, especially women who first experience menopause and just don't care. And then you look a year later, what did I do to myself? Dangerous.
Yeah.
Be
So
careful
even
with
if
that.
it's everything else is good, but you just can't manage, like you just feel like you're down.
Yeah.
That's enough to stack on the pounds.
Easy.
Because
Super
if
easy.
my low moods continued or if they were every day, it wasn't every day.
Yeah.
But I remember there were times where I would just feel like, God, I feel so down. And some of the most downest days that I had were Saturdays. It was so weird. And the alcohol didn't help.
Yeah.
So I would have a drink after Orange Theory. And I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, but when I sat in my symptoms for a while and correlated all of this, I started to put the pieces of the puzzle together. You can't skip that part. Because if you racked on 20, 30 pounds during menopause, you're struggling with some symptoms.
Yes, you are.
So you need to get a hold of those symptoms. The weight loss will come off. The weight will come off.
Yes, it will.
As a result of getting your symptoms in check.
Yep. Exactly. Just like you put it on, you could take it off. But you got to get ahead of it before it gets way out of your reach.
Yeah.
Sometimes
that's why a lot of people commented on my post on Instagram of the jeans. Yeah. And it's how. That's such a loaded, I can't answer that. How?
They really asked you that?
Yeah, they asked how.
The good how?
How? I mean, it's such a loaded question.
It is.
As you can see, this whole episode, right? How? It's how do I even answer that? I guess I just did in this episode, but I certainly can't type it out in an Instagram.
That's just a long type. It's a lot of factors.
And my how could be different than your how. Could be different than the next person's how. But what's not different is the calorie deficit has to be created. How you create the deficit and the things you need to work on to be able to get the deficit is different for everybody. Because not everyone pees their pants. Not everybody has hot flashes. Everyone has different experience.
Exactly.
With it.
Yep.
Menopause is the same. Men, I feel, go through the same.
Menopause, yeah. Our testosterone drops, estrogen goes up, and then we start gaining a lot of weight, and men become emotional. And it's dangerous for men in their 40s because suicide rate is very high in men.
It is.
In their 40s.
In their
Super
40s.
high. Yeah,
it's
dangerous.
The highest.
Yes. And this is one thing we don't talk about. We hold these emotions in because we're taught to be men, to complain, never complain. You got to man up. But when you don't feel like a man and you're confused about what you feel inside, guys go crazy. They don't know. They don't know how to deal with it. At least women have an idea better.
Yeah, because
we don't talk about it. Men don't talk about menopause.
They make it a cool thing. For men, they call it midlife crisis. They get a toupee and a sports car.
Yeah, that's not us no more.
No.
That's not us. I'm going to change that narrative. Watch. I'm already changing that narrative.
Yeah.
Almost 49. Ain't no toupee. I do have kind of a sports car, a muscle car, but.
You didn't get it with your midlife crisis.
No. I got something else.
No, you wanted to sell your cars actually when you were going through it. You wanted to sell everything.
I wanted everything gone when I went through my little midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And you know what? Serves me right. Because I used to make fun of that as a kid and young guy. Like, midlife crisis, mental health. Man, that's all BS. Till it happened to me, I'll never judge another person again on what they're going through because I went through it.
Now you have empathy.
I have super empathy. I never thought in a million years I'd experience that. I used to laugh about that.
And that's why I honestly love that the ability for us to provide our
learn and grow
feelings on things based on our own experiences with things. That's what I like because I feel like we uniquely have experience with mental health.
You
We've
bet,
both
yes.
have been obese people in our lives
Yes,
as well.
we have. They see
So-
us now, lean, whatever trim, but
Right.
no. At
So
one
when
point
we
in time,
sound a little harsh sometimes or whatever, I just feel like we've earned the card to speak on it a little more abrasively because we have been there and we've walked in those shoes.
yes, we've been
It's
there.
a little annoying to hear someone, on their soapbox if they've never, spent a day over 120 pounds.
Exactly.
Okay? It is annoying.
Yeah,
Or the guys that can eat 5,000 calories and they're all super muscular.
super
They've
lean.
never.
Yeah, they got
It's
blessed
annoying.
with great genetics.
But we have been there. We have walked in those shoes
Yep.
before. We're both the children of obese mothers.
Yes, facts.
My mom for sure has. So I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like we have the card.
We do.
can speak on it a little bit.
Yep.
And before, I did used to talk about you can still lose weight in menopause and all those things, but I hadn't experienced menopause yet. Now I feel just even more empowered to speak on it. My message didn't change a whole lot
No.
now that I'm going through it, but now I really have the license to speak on it because
Yes.
as a woman who is truly in the throes of it right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you have the experience of it, like what it feels like to go through menopause. Now you can speak
Right.
on it.
And now I can, for sure, with certainty, again, tell you it does not prevent you from losing weight. You can still lose weight. And I'm going to prove that you can still also get shredded because we're both on that journey to
Yep.
Shredsville.
Yep.
Continue to follow our journey, guys. Thank you
Yes.
so much for tuning
Please.
in, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.